He was the most recognizable face on the planet, the man who went from prisoner to president. Nelson Mandela won over the world with his charm, shrewd politics and integrity.
He was never a man for himself. He was totally unconcerned with money and with all the trappings of wealth. He didn't want a big car, he didn't want any of that stuff. He just had what was necessary and what he was told to have. He really worried about his ideas, his own philosophy, his beliefs, the incredible belief that he has that everybody is good, that there's good in everybody, and that we should react to that goodness in everybody. The reconciliation was his watchword. If you talk about Gandhi, one tends to think of passive resistance, right? If you talk about Mandela, it's reconciliation. And he believes everybody can be reconciled. I mean, he was reconciled with the guys that put him in jail. He went to see Betsy Verwoerd. He believed all of us should have reconciliation as our watchword.
His love for people, his love for freedom, his love for the liberation of this country, so that everybody should be equal, everybody should have equal opportunities and peace. Those were his qualities.
Reconciliation was to be his legacy in the healing of a nation scarred and divided bitterly by apartheid.
You know the story of Moses? I might sound a bit evangelical, but the truth of the matter is that I think that he will be remembered as not only a leader that took us out of the depths of hell from whence we come, but as a leader that put the African continent at a level where those who had condemned us as a continent are able to stand back and say, wow, look at those people. The so-called dark continent suddenly has a light hovering over it, and that light comes from Madiba.
With that light, he even won over erstwhile adversaries like Pik Botha, the former apartheid foreign minister, who recalled a bedside visit from Mandela as he lay in hospital.
Mr. Mandela heard about my operation. And when I was coming out of my coma in the intensive care unit in hospital, I woke up with him by my side, holding my hand, and saying to me, look, Pik, I've gone through the same ordeal. Get well, you're okay.
An encounter a world away from the Transkei, where Nelson Mandela was born, son of a chief. He came to Johannesburg as a young man and trained as a lawyer, a difficult job in apartheid South Africa.
Nelson said when he'd go to court, the white lawyers would pretend they didn't notice him. Now, it's almost impossible not to notice a man of this stature, of the way in which he walked, his proud being, immaculate dress.
This led him into politics with the African National Congress. This led again underground to this safe house at Liliesleaf near Johannesburg. He was caught in 1961 and sentenced to 5 years in prison for inciting strikes. Later, his comrades at Liliesleaf were caught, leading to his appearance at the Rivonia trial, in which he spoke these famous words.
I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the idea of a democratic and free society in which all persons will live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an idea for which I hope to live for and to see realized. But if it needs be, it is an idea for which I am prepared to die.
He escaped the hangman's noose by a whisker, and he never forgot, according to his lawyer on the day, Arthur Chaskelson, who was head of the Constitutional Court in South Africa when the then president opened it.
He started by saying, the last time I was in a court, it was to hear whether or not I was going to be sentenced to death. That's how he started his comments. But the next day we were going to consider whether or not capital punishment was consistent with the Constitution. So it was quite a dramatic opening. And well, if he had been executed, what would have happened?
The President-elect of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Nelson Mandela, to proceed to the table.
What did happen was Mandela emerged from 27 years in prison in 1990 to build a democratic South Africa with one of the most liberal constitutions in the world. He brought everything from education to electricity to millions for the first time. He retired after one term in power with his reputation intact.
He always argued that he was part of a collective. But as I said, he's an instrument at one level that different people and constituencies use to advance particular interests. But he also transcends all these interests to the extent that globally people see him as a symbol of freedom.
When I saw him last year, I said to him, had you any notion of that you would become this great icon? And how is it to be? He shrugged his shoulders and smiled.
In latter years, the people surrounding him shielded him from the eyes of the world as his health deteriorated and the visits to hospital became more of a concern. The idea was to ensure the world remembered Nelson Mandela as the shining and unassuming icon that he undoubtedly was. Chris Bishop for CNBC Africa, Johannesburg.